Ken, Susan, how are you folks today? Excellent. Um, before I get started, first of all, thank you once again for coming in here. I feel like we're making a lot of progress over these last few appointments, and I want to make sure that moving forward, um, we handle everything appropriately and we make sure that we implement the proper plan to make sure your goals are reached. Um, with that being said, the one area I really wanted to focus in on today was your guys' number one goal, and that's retiring comfortably at age 62. Before I talk about a few different opportunities as well as implementations that need to be made, I want to talk a little bit about what we're currently doing. Susan, what you're currently doing is you're contributing to your employer's 403b program. On an annual basis, you're putting away $2,860. Um, The school does offer matching opportunities, and for every $4 that you put in, the school will match $1. With that being said, last year, the school, for you putting that amount in, matched $715 automatically into your program. Great news when you hear about companies that offer matching opportunities. Ken, now on the other hand, we've talked briefly about Uncle Joe's and about implementing a plan, for your employees. But unfortunately, at this point, there's nothing in place. But you've done an excellent job of putting $3,000 a year away to a traditional IRA. Although there's no matching opportunities, I give you credit for going out of your way and opening one up and understanding what your goals are and putting money away. Overall, what you folks are contributing out of your own pocket is $5,860 a year. There's a few things that we'll have to look at and take advantage of to make sure we retire properly and when you folks want to. In order for us to retire properly, we'll need to contribute $14,677 on an annual basis. Sounds like a lofty number, but there's a few things we do have to consider. One is the matching opportunities. Like I said, Susan, your employer has matching opportunities. We have to make sure that we maximize those. Ken, I'll talk real briefly about implementing a retirement program into Uncle Joe's and how it will both benefit Uncle Joe's as a business, but also allow you matching contributions as well. What we'll start with is, Susan, your 403b. What we'll have to do is contribute on an annual basis to that approximately $4,576. The reason we came up with that number is because that maximizes your matching opportunity, and by you putting that in, the school will actually automatically put in $1,144 annually. So that will be very beneficial for you. Ken, there's a few great reasons, like we said, about implementing a retirement plan in Uncle Joe's. The first one is keeping good employees. So many business owners that I talk to and talk about implementing financial plans for, their biggest concern is they lose a lot of their employees because they don't have any type of retirement program for them to contribute to. My recommendation as far as that goes is us implementing a simple IRA into that program. It'll allow you to, one, keep good employees, two, allow for further tax deductions for Uncle Joe's, and third, it'll allow you to have matching contributions towards your own personal retirement. My suggestion here is we put away $1,920 into the simple IRA through Uncle Joe's. The reason for that is Uncle Joe's will match that dollar for dollar for you. My next recommendation for the remainder of the money, approximately $5,117 that we have to put away annually, is into a traditional or Roth IRA. By putting money away into that, it allows us a little bit more flexibility as far as what funds we can invest in as compared to your own employer programs, but it also allows us to control our tax bracket. Before I recommend either a traditional or Roth IRA, we must sit down with a tax professional, not only for Uncle Joe's sake, because I feel like there's a lot of deductions there and there's a lot of opportunity there, and we need to sit down with a tax professional on that aspect, but also talking about what's more appropriate to put money away for you guys personally, whether it's a traditional or a Roth IRA. Like I said, we'll have to put away approximately $5,117 into that type of plan. Whether it's all into one or the other, we'll have to seek guidance from a tax professional. Now, the $14,677 that we'll have to put away for per year seems like a pretty lofty number. I'll admit it. But there's a few things we can do, and by looking at your inflows as compared to your outflows, um, realistically will not make a substantial difference in your own personal financial situation. Looking at your inflows and outflows, you're saving a little bit over $6,600 a year. All of that could be implemented towards your number one goal, which is your retirement program. What that would leave us with is approximately $2,222 that we will have to cut as far as expenses on an annual basis. I feel like the $200 or so is nothing that I can personally tell you where it needs to come from, but that's just something that will need to be cut down in order for us to put it towards your number one goal of retiring at age 62. One thing I did not include in here, and it was for a particular reason, is talking about Uncle Joe's. We've talked about it when you guys decide to retire. You plan on selling Uncle Joe's in some sort of fashion and using those proceeds towards retirement. The reason I did not put them into the calculations here is, first of all, it provides us a little bit more wiggle room. So right now we're assuming a 7% return and a 3% inflation rate. None of that is guaranteed. Inflation rate could be well above 3% at any point from now to when you retire, or the markets could do poorly and 7% may not be a realistic goal for us. So by doing that, I wanted to leave Uncle Joe's out of the calculations and consider anything we receive from that as additional on top of your overall retirement. Another reason I didn't want to really put a value on Uncle Joe's is a lot of small businesses, what they assume the fair market value of Uncle Joe's is not always the actual selling price. So that's another concern that I didn't want to, and that's another reason I did not want to implement it into your overall program. We'll talk a little bit further in detail about it, but looking at this is the most optimal way to make sure that we're comfortable throughout the process, as well as that you guys stay on track to retire at age 62.